good morning, all you little stumpsters. I shouldn't say anything. I shouldn't, so be very, very quiet. But this is like the third day in a row. Well, it ain't over yet, but this will be a number 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3. If it doesn't rain, 3 days in a row with no rain. And I don't remember. I have to search far back in the annals of my dusty mind to remember a stretch that long without monsoons. So, maybe we get away with it and it won't hear us. But it's actually dried out nice. So I'm heading down to the hellhole. We gotta finish the hellhole, Mount Misery. Hopefully we're gonna kick it in the butt this week. If it doesn't, if it rains, it's really going to screw us because it's steep and it's all uphill skid out of that hellhole. And yes, NJ Blanchett, a yarder would work really good. So, by the way, thanks NJ for all the good comments. You come up with some good stuff I enjoy. I actually am going to have to get a hold of you and chat for a while. I think you're in the Philippines, so maybe I'll have to come out and buy you a beer, huh? Get some Filipino food. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm sure I'd like it. But anyway, thanks for everybody for the good comments. Thanks for the new subscribers. I got an interesting young fella here, Cooper Connell. Connell or Connell, I'm not sure. Connell, I'm not sure how you say it. Connell. Sounds like an Irish, a wee little leprechaun name to me. But anyway, he had a really good comment on one of the later videos. You guys might want to read it. Very interesting. But want to know if I had any advice for him as far as what to do about a career in this industry. So sounds, Cooper, like you got a pretty good grip on what's going on. The money situation is where your questions are. I think if you got in with a land clearing company that's doing prevailing wage stuff or doing gas line work, or I know a lot of these land clearers are doing for solar fields, solar panel fields and what. I think if you got in with them, they could offer you a pretty good, with some experience. I mean, you're not going to get right in the door, top dollar, but I would think that you'd be, pretty good wage there, pretty competitive. As far as the logging end of it, if it's strictly logging, the big problem in logging is, I know in Pennsylvania, I don't know how it is out in Maryland. I think you said you're from Baltimore area. The big problem with logging in Pennsylvania anyway is the workman's comp. And we don't have employees. We work contractors. We're all independent contractors. I have a contractor's agreement that everybody agrees to, that they come and go as they please, whatever. There's no time clocks. There's no Now with that being said, too, you still got to be dependable and be there, or obviously there's no sense, right? So, we do a contractor thing. Now I pay considerably more money. Basically you're making about probably twice what an employee would make, simply because the comp rate here is 54%. So that means if I pay a guy, an employee, $1,000 a week, I got to pay the insurance company another $540. Well, that don't work. All right. So I would rather give the contractor the other $540 than an insurance company. So the rates are much better. I'm not going to discuss rates on YouTube. I would private message somebody and talk to them about that. But and as an independent, if you got your own chainsaw and your own tools, whatever. I mean, your own set of wheels, you're pretty much in business. You run your own little small business. That probably, to me, if I were in your shoes, I would never me personally, I wouldn't want to work as an employee for anybody. I would work per diem as a contractor or per hour. You know, I would have no interest in being an employee. You're way better off being an independent, only because you know, healthcare situations, every dime is deductible. The cost of a healthcare plan, the cost of you know, you could have top-notch Blue Cross coverage for what you're going to pay the friggin' comp insurance company. And comp insurance isn't the wherewithal anyway, because it's got tort limits and everything else. If you are an independent and you have a medical policy, your own, you know, medical policy, it follows you wherever you are, whether you're working or whether you're riding your bicycle in the park and fall off and break your arm, or fall out of your tree stand hunting, or if you get hurt at work. If you are an independent, you have to be now not an employee. Because if you're an employee, then you're covered with workman's comp. And workman's comp and major medical will not duplicate. So I see much better tax benefit in being a contractor. You know, I've always been a contractor, always. I did a little short stint for a guy. I went through a bankruptcy in 2000, lost my damn dumb ass, and luckily Mammy stayed with me and we kept our home. But you know, I had a bunch of nice equipment, about half paid, all brand new stuff, all half paid for it. I lost it, but whatever. That's just, you know, it's a gamble. You roll the dice. It was business, you know. So, but anyway, so I worked for I worked for my buddy Wes for 3 or 4 months. I was eligible to collect. I didn't collect. I found an old skidder and went back into logging. But my point being, if you want to do independent, you know, you can get a pretty good rate out of an outfit, even logging, you know, either per thousand or per hour. I pay our contractors mostly by the hour or by the ton. It depends on what we're doing, but they make pretty good money. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, let's, you know, between 20 and 30 anyway, you know, and then there's exceptions to that too, but so that's something to think about. And I know, like I said, if you go into like a prevailing wage situation with one of these land clearers that's doing, you know, public work stuff clearing along the highways and this and that, some of the gas wall stuff's union. I mean, the pay is really good, but you get laid off a lot too. So if you could get in with a logging outfit or a land clearing outfit that's non-union or non-prevailing wage, and still, you know, maybe, you know, as a contractor, do between 20 and 30 or 25 or something like that, or 27 or whatever, get your foot in the door, and, you know, but you got to be able to get something done too. You can't stand around with your thumb in your butt waiting for somebody to tell you what to do. You know, you got to notice what's going on and get after it, you know. But if you're that type of a guy, and yeah, I think you could make some pretty good money at it. There's companies, you know, I mean, I'm always looking for decent people who can get out of their own way, you know. And I like what we're doing. There's a certain amount of trustworthiness. I don't want people I can't trust. I don't want people who are going to pad their bill. You know, I never question anybody's hours. I just pay the bill. And, you know, it comes out in the laundry. If you're making a company money, you know, it's fine. It'll balance out. If you're a liability to me and you don't do what you say you're going to do, and I just move on. You know, see ya, bye bye. I'm not going to babysit. So, and companies are always looking for good people like that. You know, whether it be employee or contractor. But I would lean, if I were you, more towards a contractor situation. You know, everything you do, you know, your saw, your gas, your oil, your mileage, your pickup truck or car, or however you're getting around, is deductible. You know, you can either write it off on a depreciation schedule for your taxes, or you either or. You can't do both, but either that, or I think it's like 48 or 52 cents a mile you can deduct out of your income directly right out for your mileage, which, you know, these things all add up, and it keeps you in a lower tax bracket, you know, saves you tax money. There's actually quite a bit to it that's beneficial, I think. You know, all of your work clothes, again, anything medical, anything medical, deductibles, anything like that are all 100% dollar for dollar deductions. So that's something worth looking into. You would not be eligible for unemployment because you're not going to be paying unemployment insurance. So, and then you would want to probably look into also some kind of a supplemental income, you know, an AFLAC or a combined or something if you did get hurt, and your major medical would cover any of the catastrophic, you know, medical expense, but you wouldn't have income, where comp or a TDI or something, you know, like if you're an employee, you might get, some states have, you know, temporary disability policies, but you can buy one of them on your own privately. You just have to look into it. So if you were going to come up with a rate, a per diem or a per hourly rate, or a conversion into tons or per 1,000 foot pay ratio, you would want to take all these things into consideration. What is a major medical going to cost you? You know, $2.50 an hour or $3 an hour of your rate is going to go out towards your insurance. You know, a chainsaw is, you know, definitely probably worth, you know, $3, $4, $5 an hour, maintaining it and maintaining your gas and oil for it. You know, your vehicle, your mileage, all this stuff is all, you know, you add all this up, you figure it out, and then what's your labor worth, and then you do have to take into consideration too, if someone's willing to work with you, you know, there would be a little bit of a contractor consideration. You know, it's not a one-time 4-hour or 5-hour job. You're going to be there, you know, for, you know, who knows, you could be there for years, you know what I mean? So there's a little consideration there. You're not out shopping for work every day, you know, wasting time. You're actually there turning in. So, you know, you cut a little bit of a break there as a contractor consideration. It would be no different than if you were a developer building houses and I was a contractor hired on to, you know, to frame or to roof or whatever, you know, I would treat you a little bit better per hour or per day or per job or however you're going to work it than I would, you know, any old Joe Blow who hires me for you know, to build a patio one time, you know, or put a roof on a garage one time. You know, I'm going to hit him a little harder. I still want to be fair, but you understand what I'm saying. There's a little consideration for steady work is what I'm getting at, you know. And then as a contractor too, you know, I just recently went through this with somebody who's, you know, I can come and go as I please and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, but, you know, as a contractor, if you hire me to put a roof on and then halfway through the roof I get a hair across my ass and drop my tools and leave everything in a friggin' heap and walk off the job because I can, well, that's not very professional, you know, and that's not going to help you. You know what I mean? That burns a bridge. So keep that in mind too, even though you do have the freedom to come and go as you please as a contractor, you still need to think about, you know, consideration for other contractors and, you know, a general smooth business flow is what I'm getting at, or you're not going to have a very good reputation in the business, you know, if you just fly off the handle and drop everything you're doing and leave somebody hanging. That ain't cool, you know. No different than if I do the same thing, you know, I take a job on, you know, leave everything, you know, that's not good for my reputation. You just don't operate that way, you know. So you got to bear in mind that with the freedom comes responsibility. But yeah, I think you could negotiate a good price out doing it that way. I would. I like that. You know, I like the idea of being, you know, my own entity and most businesses do. As a matter of fact, there was a TV commercial here. I don't know, it was playing about 6 months ago, and I thought it was very interesting. It was like one of these, TD Waterhouse or one of these great big investment companies that, handle money markets and retirement funds and all that stuff. Which is another thing, by the way, you can do on your own. I've always done my own IRA, and it doesn't take much. You can do your own 401k. It's not like, I want to, I got to have a retirement. Well, do your own retirement. All you do is start a retirement fund and contribute 20, 50, whatever you can a week into it. Big deal. That's another thing that you put into your package of, hey, this is what I need. This is what I've got to distribute to live and to pay my bills and build a future, and everybody understands that. But anyway, what this commercial was getting into, it was actually a little lobster boat. I believe it was in Maine, and it shows a mom and pop lobster operation. The guy's got a nice wooden, probably a 30-footer, 30, 40-foot boat with a little Detroit in it, and he's out lobstering, and he's talking about being an independent contractor and doing his thing, and and a lot to think about his retirement. And that's what the video was pertaining to, was the commercial was pertaining to, is how to manage your money long term, so you have a little retirement nest egg. And the MC on the commercial there, the narrator in the commercial, says that statistically, or by 2030, they estimate that 55% of the American workforce will be independents, or what's the term they're using now? Can't think of it, but basically that means they're contractors. Freelance. That's the word. That's the latest term, freelance. But all it means is you're an independent. You hire on for somebody per diem or per hour, however you work it out, and you're an independent, you're a contractor. And I think it's a beautiful thing, because there's lots of, when you're a contractor, you see what you're paying taxes right now. You're not dealing with net, you're dealing with gross. You'll get a gross pay, and you put your own taxes aside, and it makes everybody grow up really fast. Okay, but you can make money. I mean, if you're a good manager, you can do just fine. I've done that all my life, with the exception of like 3 months as an employee. I've been working for, I don't know, gosh damn near 40 years, and I've survived. I got a 10th grade education. It's not that hard to take care of yourself and manage things, But I wouldn't be afraid to look into that. I don't know if this has answered any questions or just made it confusing for you, but again, you wouldn't be eligible for Social Security. I'm sorry, not Social Security. You are eligible for that, because you're going to be contributing to that. When you pay your federal taxes, but you wouldn't have unemployment insurance, which to me, I wouldn't even know now. If I quit today, I wouldn't even know how to apply for unemployment. Never been an issue to me. If I don't want to be unemployed, I'll go find work tomorrow. And you sound like a confident guy, the type that would do the same. People who want to work, as far as I'm concerned, and don't take this the wrong way, I'm not saying because somebody gets laid off that they don't want to work, but I see a lot of, I see an awful lot of hopelessness in that realm. Oh, I got laid off. What do? I can't do. It just seems like it's a entrapment or something. I hope people understand what I'm saying. I think a lot of good people get wrapped up in that, and they're so used to that cycle. It's so dependent on that. They think that they can't break away and do something else. Well, hey, baby, I'm flying without a net. If I want work, I go find it. And if you're a confident contractor, dependable and straightforward, decent, honest person, and can get something done, you ain't never going to be without work. So I wouldn't worry about the stupid unemployment. That means nothing to me. That's like -10 on my list. I could care less about that. I think you'd be good. I mean, and anybody else listening too, any of you young guys, you know, hey, there's tons of stuff you can do. Get a service truck, a welder, a set of torches. You know, if you're good at repairing stuff, good at, you know, just like that Brittle kid I got helping us. You know, he does his own thing. He's got a little shop, but I mean, there's just, oh my God, there's people looking for people like that. There's just tons of stuff to do. And there ain't a lot of young guys that want to get their hands dirty anymore. You know, they all want to go to college and go, I don't know, do whatever. I don't know what they do. Sit at a desk and punch buttons all day. I don't know, whatever. God bless them. I don't care. But anybody who don't mind working and getting dirty, and you don't have to kill yourself. I mean, you know, nobody expects you to break rocks in a hot sun all day. But, you know, just get after it, get busy. With all this stupid computer junk on this equipment, that it's the most unreliable garbage that's ever been put on the face of the planet. If a young guy good with computers wanted to learn some of that, how to read the codes, you make money. Alright, I gotta go. I hope it's been helpful. Have a good day, guys. Talk to you later.